Hi there. So here I'm in QGIS. This is Zurich 3.18. I'm just going to talk a bit about Voronoi polygons. Not for too long though. It's not a sort of tutorial on the maths behind it. It's using them in the GIS. And so what's going to happen here is I've got all these points which are actually this sample points data. It's got some Leicester pubs. It's called 3857 just because I've reprojected it, that's all. And I've got a random value here from 0 to 100. Actually, it's from 1 to 100. And I want to create Voronoi polygons out of this input point data in QGIS. Now, Voronois, which are also known as Thiessen polygons, certainly made their mark when a physician called John Snow, not the Winter is Coming John Snow, but a physician in London in 1854 was studying the cholera epidemic, and he uses Voronoi diagrams. He created them from the locations of water pumps, and by counting up the deaths in each of the polygon, he was really identifying, nail where the source of the infection was from. So it's a great sort of use and very successful use of Voronoi polygons. So, and the idea is that a Voronoi polygon or a cell, you end up with sort of cells, but let's just call them polygons. The idea is any location within the polygon generated is actually closer to the associated point than to any other input point. So the associated point, i.e. each one of my Leicester pubs. So you have this idea of a point not really existing just by itself. It's impacted. It's got this influence from the surrounding area. And so each one of these points is going to end up with a polygon. I've only got a single point sort of in the middle, but there could be multiple, so you may aggregate the data. But in this instance, I'm just using a single point and going to generate a polygon around each one of these dots. Because, I mean, when we look at this data, I could do a straightforward sort of symbology thing like this. Oh, go on. Oh, I haven't chosen my field. Some value, classify, press OK, and look, we get these sort of dark red dots and some lighter ones where the numbers are lower. You see there's some lower ones there. So, you know, that's one way of seeing sort of hotspots. But I want to use polygons, and therefore have all the power of sort of the geoanalytical tools that could be applied to polygons. So under vector, see how the vector tab at the top there, menu, you go geometry and Voronoi polygons. I'm going to take the whole layer, pubs 3857. You can sort of force out the extent. You can kind of a percentage of saying you can sort of push it and make a wider extent. Have a play with that if you like. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave as is. I'm also just going to keep to a temporary memory layer. I could save the results to a GeoPackage or database tab or whatever. So but I'm just going to create a temporary layer. Create run. And we get a nice patterned sort of Voronoi, this sort of tessellation going on. And so let me, so that's where you I've got it at the moment. Let's just drag these pubs on top. So you can see where the actual pubs are that sit on these polygons. I'm going to reset this actually just to a single black dot. And so you can clearly see the dot. So that's like the source of the polygon, you might say. And you can see sort of patterns already emerging. First of all, you can see the closeness of these, how small they are and how packed in these polygons are, because of course that's I'm sure that's a city centre. So they're all packed in, so you have these smaller polygons. So they're kind of influencing a smaller area, shall we say. Let's call it that. And as you go outwards, you see bigger polygons. But it's still trying to create this area that's is solely sort of for itself, shall we say, but bearing in mind what the other neighbouring points are doing, and making sure that every point within a associated polygon is the closest to this sort of seed point, this sort of given starting point. And that's really what it's doing here. So here we can, of course, do a graduated symbology on this. Some value, classify them all, press OK. I'm not changing the colours and stuff. And there we go. So now we've got this sort of area-based analysis going on. And when I click on each one of these, you'll get name of a pub along with the value. See, so it's kind of, the point has sort of been turned into it has been turned into a polygon and inherited all the data. All the data's come through, and as I click on each one, you see I get the pubs. Let's just, and indeed just to sort of see where on earth these things are, I can just go to the properties and really make it a bit transparent. There you go. That's a bit better. So I can see the underlying geography underneath and get some spatial awareness to these boundaries. So these are very representational. This is sort of the power of the data, shall we say, rather than define geography, because even though my data is at postcode level, full postcode unit, as we saw in the data, so you see this postcode, so we've got the full postcode unit. I haven't got boundary data sets of this. I haven't got a polygon that defines these, and I just don't have that. So, and actually I was just using the X and Y anyway as my starting point to position these pubs. So, but from the points with Voronoi polygons, I've been able to create a representational sort of boundary that is impacted by the data and kind of influenced by all the surrounding data. One of the things, of course, is when you have polygons as well, especially if you're writing a little application and you want to sort of select something, often with a point, you just go straight to that point. So if I was zoomed in like this sort of thing, actually let's turn off the boundaries. So if I looked at let's sort by by pub name. So if I looked at this one, Almeida Coffee, and then just sort of zoom to it, you can see it just zooms to that central point, which is just that. Let's flash it. So it's that one there. So it just flashes that icon. But now I've got these as polygons. Let's go to the polygon and do the same thing. You can imagine your Python code or whatever, when it zooms to it, it actually now you see how it zoomed out, because what it's doing is showing the area of sort of impact of the data sort of thing. So let me just flash the feature. You see now it's flashing the whole sort of area. So it set the zoom as well as the center of screen to that feature, which is now a polygon. So it's just a default behavior of the polygon. But so clicking on another, zoom, and there you go. It's zoomed out and showing the it's fitted. There's a interesting shape it's done there, but it's fitted the whole polygon in the map window. So it's actually can be a bit more user friendly, let's say, in the navigation sort of side of things when you zoom to or flash a feature, because you're able to zoom to the extent of it, even though it started off just as a point. Anyway, I hope you find that useful, and I'll leave it there. Thank you.